Before we start, I like to give a who shout out to all my Patreon members. All credit goes out to them as it's their support that is helping me create these videos. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment to FMSCOUT's YouTube page. Peace and enjoy the videos. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to FMSCOUT's YouTube channel. It is RDF and today I will be dealing with a request that we had so many times. It's a Pep Guardiola recreation. I've actually recreated Pep Guardiola before, but that was his time at Barcelona. This time we're going to be looking at his time at Manchester City, because as we all know, that tactical setup is just a little bit different than his time at Barcelona. When creating this tactic, I had a few things in mind that of course I wanted to take from real life situations into the game. Not everything you can take from real life and add them into Football Manager, but I have taken some of the key elements that I believe that are key and I have used them to try and recreate this Man City side. One thing I noticed which is key at Man City, of course, is the possession football. It's the possession football, nice build up, but it's not just possession football with no intent. There's going to be plenty of intent. When the players have the ball, we are going to be relying on the off the ball movement for us to be able to create those chances. One of the movements off the ball that we are expecting are overloads, especially in the half spaces, which Guardiola loves to do. In order to achieve this, he usually has wingers or all of his wide men cutting inside or position himself inside, whilst his central midfielders then go out into half spaces, stretching the opposition and also creating an overload on each flank. But not only do the wing backs also come inside, they also have the opportunity to go on the outside too. Which is why in this tactic I opted to use fullbacks instead of the inverted fullbacks, because using inverted fullbacks you are kind of limited when it comes to their movement. With the fullback now you do have a few more options you can play with. For example, before going into too much details, with the left back I have him staying wider because as we know Pep Guardiola loves the pitch to be stretched at all times. But when Mendy has the ball to try and create that inside movement, I have him cutting inside with the ball. When it comes to creating chances, Pep Guardiola likes his teams to work the ball into the box rather than shooting, to try and create the more clear-cut opportunities. When the ball is in the final third, he also gives his players the freedom to go and express themselves in order to try and break the opposition down. For me, holding this possession is all about trying to drag the opposition out of their defensive positions in order for Pep Guardiola's team to exploit the spaces. In order to have possession of the ball, of course, you need the ball. And Pep Guardiola's teams are very good when it comes to recovering the ball. So when it comes to pressing, I feel pressing in a tactic of Pep Guardiola is a must. Now we're not talking extreme pressing, we're not talking gegenpress, but we are talking about enough pressing to stop the opposition from playing, and we can cut off passing lanes just to keep us going on the front foot and us to be on the ball for the majority period of a match. And just before I get into the details of the tactic, I'm just going to read a quote from Pep Guardiola himself. "If you do nothing with the ball, then what's the point? Everyone in the world knows when you are playing with meaning or when you're just playing because you like having the ball. If your possession doesn't have motion, it's like living without life. It's more dangerous to play like that. I may as well just sit down with my legs crossed on the bench waiting for the opposition to counterattack." That is a quote from Pep Guardiola himself. So now with that introduction, let's get into the tactic. Here we are with the RDF Pep Guardiola's recreation. We have set up with the 4-3-3 and we are going to start with the team instructions and the in possession. With the mentality, I've gone with positive because we want to be on the front foot. We want to remain positive throughout the game, but also we want to keep the ball. So we don't want to be too attacking and making our play more direct than needed. With the attacking width, we've gone with extremely wide. Again, that is to try and stretch the pitch, to be able to create overloads, to be able to create even underlap for players to run inside once the wide players has the ball. Also, when we are building up, the players are positioned very wide. For approach play, the only approach play that we have is play out of defense. Of course, we want to keep the ball, keep possession. But the nice thing about playing out defense with this system, with this tactic, with this Pep Guardiola tactic, is the unpredictable movement. As we are playing a deep lying playmaker, once the defense has the ball, it's actually going to be common for opposition to try and close down Rodri, who here is the deep lying playmaker, and this creates basically a false movement, as we now know that teams want to press Rodri. So we have Bernardo Silva here as the advanced playmaker, who obviously looks to collect the ball as a playmaker, and he would then also drop deep to try and collect the ball. And hopefully with Rodri being man-marked out of the game, that leaves Silva with plenty of space to come and collect the ball, and he can do his business. When it comes to passing directness, we have gone with shorter and the lower tempo. This is trying to retain possession, but not trying to retain possession too much, because we want to have purpose when we are attacking. With the final third, we have gone with low crosses, mainly because of our low aerial threat, and when we are trying to create our chances, we are going to be working that ball into the box. When it comes to creative freedom, I want to give the players that creative freedom. In transition, when it comes to possession has been lost, we want to counter press the opponents. Of course, we want to try and win the ball back. But when we have possession of the ball, we want to hold our shape, trying to retain our formation, but also we want to try and encourage the opposition to come out a little bit, so then we can attack the spaces in behind. When it comes to distributing it from the goalkeeper, we actually have no specific instruction, as we know that Ederson and Manchester City like to actually pass it a little bit shorter, maybe to the centre-backs. But if you have been watching Ederson, he also has the ability to play the long direct pass or the long direct throw, and that actually beats the opposition's press. When it comes to out of possession, we do have the offside trap with our defenders stepping up, trying to catch the opponent's offside. Our line of engagement and our defence line is on much higher, but when you are playing with this tactic like I did, this should be tweaked depending on who you are playing. If you are playing a team that's constantly going to sit back throughout the match, then the line of engagement you actually might want to drop to higher or even standard to try and encourage the opposition to come out with the ball. With the defensive width, we have gone with narrow. We want to try and contain ourselves when we are defending, trying to make ourselves a little bit more difficult, especially when it comes to counter-attacks, because we are a possession-based team. Once we lose the ball, the opponents are going to try and counter us, and narrow defensive width actually helps with some solidarity. When it comes with the pressing intensity, we have gone with the more urgent pressing, and when the goalkeeper has the ball of the opponent, then we want to be preventing him to be able to pass it short. Now we're going to move on to the player instructions and their roles. For the goalkeeper, we have the sweeper keeper on support. He has no special instructions on him. For the left back, we have gone with the full back on support. He's going to be taking more risks, trying to get the ball further up the field, preferably to the wide men, or even trying to break the opponent down, getting the ball to our more creative players like the advanced playmaker. Cross less often and from the byline, so when he gets to the byline, he won't be looking to actually cross the ball. He's going to be looking for an option. And with the ball, we are asking him to cut inside to try and create the overlap inside the pitch when he has the ball. But when we are in possession of the ball and he's not in possession of the ball, I want him to be staying wider. For the right back, we have similar instructions, but to try and have some variation, he will be getting further forward, and instead of staying wider, he would actually be sitting narrow. This is to help us with the opposition not being able to counter us. With the two centre backs, we have gone with ball playing defenders on the defend duty. They will be asked to dribble more, as they can actually be ball carrying players too. So they will be trying to carry the ball, and when they are dribbling with the ball to look for a pass, now they might find a better angle. For the defensive midfield position, you can go with a deep line playmaker, or you can go with a halfback. I went with a deep line playmaker because our attacking width is stretched all the way to wide, and to try and get some central play for the ball to come inside, not consistently on the outside. We do have two playmakers where they will be looking to collect the ball from players. With that in mind, I have asked them to close down more and tackle harder to try and be a ball winner as well in effect, and to win the ball back for our team. Just in front of him, we have the advanced playmaker on support. He has dribble more, roam from position, close down more and mark tighter. We want him to dribble a little bit to try and find a better passing angle for himself. He is going to be roaming from positions, trying to find pockets, close down more and mark tighter to try and win the ball back. On the right side of him, we have the Mezzala on attack. We have asked him to dribble more again for similar reasons, close down more and mark tighter. On the left hand side of attack, we have gone with the inverted winger, who is very excellent at overloading the central areas. We have asked him to cross less often, shoot less often, but get further forward to support the central forward, roam from position, stay wider, close down more and mark tighter. And for the right hand side, we have cross less often, hold up the ball, shoot less often, roam from position, stay wider, close down more and mark tighter. You will notice on the left hand side I have get further forward with Sterling. Because the player behind him doesn't have get further forward, this should actually create a little bit of a more direct partnership. Whereas on the right hand side, we had the deeper fullback getting further forward, with the inverted winger not getting further forward for two reasons. The inverted winger is now holding up the ball on the outside of him. Cancelo can run on the outside of him, but also on the inside of him, De Bruyne, the Mezzala, can make that underlap run. So with that, the inverted winger is holding up the ball, so he can actually potentially have two options when this overload has been created. Last but not least, of course, the Sergio Aguero, complete forward on the support duty. He is closing down more and marking tighter. So now we have covered that, we are going to shift over to the results and the statistics. When it comes to results, as you can see in the Premier League, Manchester City managed to win the league, playing 38 games, winning 31, drawing 3, losing 4 of those games with a plus 65 goal difference and a 96 point finish. The top goal scorer in the league for our team was Sergio Aguero, no surprise. We also managed to win the Champions League, beating Liverpool 2-1 in the final. Luckily, we won this because Liverpool did have the better chances. But when it comes to possession, you can see Manchester City clearly dominated. And when we do have possession with our dangerous players, we are always a threat. When it comes to domestic cups like the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, we didn't do too great. But now let's look at the team statistics, because this is what a lot of people are more interested in, because this gives an indication of how the recreation has ended up. So with average possession, we have 60% possession, which is the best in the league by 3 points, which is very, very good. The next thing I want to show you is the pass completion ratio. Manchester City ended the season again number 1 in the league with 91% pass completion. And when it comes to passes completed, we have 21,218 passes completed, which again is the most passes completed in the league. When it comes to goals, Liverpool shaded us with the goals, 79 goals they scored. We only managed to score 72. One of the main reasons that I find when you play in possession football, a lot of the times on Football Manager, you're actually sacrificing a lot in attack. When it comes to conversion rates, Man City are sitting third with 10%, which is actually high considering we also had the third amount of shots on target too. We do have the best shot on target ratio in the league. When it comes to dribbles per game, we matched Liverpool, also surprisingly Fulham, with 20 dribbles per game. And when it comes to fouls against, we win that with 615. One thing you will also notice is the goals conceded. We only managed to concede 7 goals. Incredible, that's all I can say. We got 31 clean sheets. 31 clean sheets is actually incredible. When it comes to tackles won ratio, we are sitting 9th with 86%. And when it comes to fouls made, you can see that we're sitting 19th in the league. We hardly gave away any cheap fouls. When it comes to player statistics, you can see here Sergio Aguero with the top goal scored in the league. He also has the best average minutes per goal ratio also. When it comes to assists, you can see here that Kevin De Bruyne actually sits 4th with 10 assists, which I would have liked to be a lot more higher. But when it comes to set pieces, we didn't set one up. I'm sure of it that this assist count would have been much higher, but we didn't set up any set pieces. Hey, when it comes to pass completion, you will see that a lot of Manchester City names in this list. Number 1 with 95% is Fernandinho, Edison and Ruben Diaz with 93%, Laporte with 92%, Gundogan with 91%, and then Sergio Aguero also with 91%. When it just comes to the team statistics, you will see Aguero scored 29 goals in all competitions. Gabriel Jesus scored 15, Mahrez scored 10, Sterling also chipped in with 10. When it comes to assists, Mahrez tops the assist alongside Kevin De Bruyne, both have 13, then it is Sterling with number 10. And when it comes to the fixture list, you can see we got off to a good start beating Leeds, but then we lost to Liverpool at home fairly early in the season. Once we get that loss, you can see something just clicked, and then we went on a long winning run. Our next loss came to Lazio away in the Champions League, which didn't really bother us, of course, because we also qualified from the Champions League. As you can see here, we also got knocked out by Burnley in the EFL Cup. Again, once we got that one loss, we went on a decent unbeaten run, and then we played Fulham at their ground, which came to a loss. Towards the end of the season, you can see that we kind of lost our way a little bit. Again, at home, we lost to Wolves, which is fairly disappointing. And then away to Aston Villa, we also lost 1-0 to them. As you can see, a common pattern when it comes to losses, we only lose by 1 goal. And when we do concede that goal, it's always early on in the game. Then the team kind of just defends throughout the rest of the game. And then, of course, last not least, the Champions League final, where we managed to beat Liverpool. But that is it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being patient. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. Stay safe out there as well. I'll see you soon. I love you guys and I love this game. Peace.